Hey everyone, okay, so I wanted to do, I know whenever you get a BFP, which is awesome, big fat positive on a pregnancy test, everybody always wants to know your symptoms and your chart and all that stuff. I always do. So I've been asked about that a lot and I was like, I'm going to totally do follow-up on it. I did the same thing after Grayson. And so first off, super crazy excited. It did not take very long this time at all, and that's awesome. That's pleasantly surprised that it's crazy. Like I don't know. I guess I'm still surprised, but I'm obviously like overjoyed, just surprised. So as you guys know, my last update, TTC update, I had shown you guys my chart, and I was waiting to test, and I think I had shown you guys my chart up through 3 or 4 days past ovulation, but I was actually, I think, at 7 days past ovulation, but when I filmed it, so I was actually like pretty close to testing when I actually filmed that vlog. So I had that weird thing where I had signs that I was going to ovulate. My signs correlated to the normal time that I've been ovulating the last few months. What's that? Like, it does make a word there. And I even had an OPK that was so close to being positive. I mean, it was, like I had said before, I think some people would have called it a positive. My temperature rose, it stayed up for 3 days. Usually if your temperature stays above your cover line for 3 days, that's kind of like a confirmation that you did ovulate. But then my temperature plummeted, and all of my like fertile cervical mucus, which usually like tapers off, like it was like gone, and it was so weird. And so started taking ovulation test again just to see, and blah blah blah, long story short, got more positive. So, and then had a temperature spike, and it's so weird looking at my chart. It really looks like I had a double ovulation. I'm leaning more towards, though, that my body geared up to ovulate and then didn't. The only conflict with that is that usually when that happens, you don't have the high temperature spikes. Like, you don't do that. So that's the only thing that would, I guess, go along with a double ovulation. It's so weird. I don't know. So because of that, I started testing, like, based on the second time, the time I think I did actually ovulate, I started testing way too early. But if it had been for the first time that I might have ovulated, it wasn't too early to start testing. So I started testing really about 7 DPO from the second time. I just started testing. And then on 9 DPO, for those of you who watched not just the live pregnancy test, but I did like a day in the life. So I took the pregnancy test on a Saturday, and on Friday I took a pregnancy test and I filmed it, and I didn't show the whole like waiting for the line to show up, but I on that Friday I was like, you know, it's like, I think there's a, like, okay, so I took an internet cheapie and nothing, and then I took a first response, and I thought I could see a line, but the thing is like, to see the line that I thought might be there, I had to take out my contacts and my glasses, because I have really horrible eyes and I actually need bifocals. And so it used to be that if I was wearing normal glasses, I need like a bifocal, but if I had my contacts in, I didn't. But now my eyes have gotten so bad that even with my contacts, I'm having trouble like focusing on anything that's really close up, even though I am nearsighted, but it doesn't matter. Like, so regardless, I would take out my contacts and my glasses off so that I could focus, and I'd have to hold the test up like this close, and if I held it up like this close to my eyes to where I could actually focus, like, I was like, I think there's a line there, but I'm not sure. And so in that day in the life video, like I'm like, maybe there wasn't, and I kind of went back and forth like all day, where sometimes I was like, no, I think there might be, and then other times I'd be like, there's nothing there. And if I had like my contacts in, like, and it's where I wasn't able to focus up close, I couldn't see anything, like couldn't see a line. So I was like, was like, I don't know. So, you know, that next day, which was 10 DPO based on my second time, I got like a definite positive, and oh yeah, and that Friday I'd also gotten a negative on the digitals. They had said not pregnant. So that next day, you know, I got a positive on those and on the line. So I definitely saw a line on 9 DPO based on second day. Now I know a lot of people are like, that's too early, you must have ovulated the first time. But I got, with Grayson, I got a positive pregnancy test on 10 DPO. And with Sophia, I got one on 9. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I did ovulate the first time just because I got a positive on 9 and 10 DPO. So that being said, there we go. I really feel like if I'd ovulated that first time, I would have had a positive test before then, or at least it would have been a stronger positive, but maybe not. Like, that's the thing. I don't know. So right now, I could be 6 weeks pregnant, or I could be like 7 weeks. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. So yeah, and then in terms of symptoms, like before testing, I was emotional, but I get emotional the last couple of times when I've had my like period. I've been emotional, so that was a symptom, but it was like one of those confusing symptoms that like could just be because you're gonna get your period. So so nothing like definite. And then I guess the only other thing is I really was really surprised. I just didn't think it was gonna happen then. I just really didn't think it was gonna happen that cycle. To the point where I didn't even have a lot of hope that it was gonna happen, and not like in a pessimistic negative way, just in like, I was like, it's not gonna be this cycle. This cycle was too weird. And you know, we had missed good days, like action days, because I'd been out of town. And as I show you guys my chart, remember that I remove any extra data that doesn't pertain to the actual days of ovulation, because not everybody needs to see that. So yeah, super surprised. I still am surprised. And I'm my pregnancy update, I'll do like symptoms and things like that, but this one I just mainly wanted to talk about that. And so yeah, and then some people were asking about, you know, oh, do you confirm at the doctor's first before you tell them? No, and the reason why is because my personality, like I think like a lot of times they recommend you don't tell everybody until you're 12 weeks along, until you've passed the more high risk time period for miscarriage. But with my personality, I actually think I would do better with the support. So I don't like wait to tell. And I know that like that might backfire on me one day, but I just think like the way I am, I think I would need like a lot of support if that happened. So I feel pretty comfortable just being like, this is what's happening. And then the other thing is that I haven't with any of my pregnancies ever gone to the doctor and confirmed with a blood test until I actually go in for my first appointment. I just never do that. I'm never worried about it because I'm fortunate I don't have problems with, you know, progesterone levels or things like that. And so sometimes people, when they get a positive, they'll rush to the doctor to confirm it there. But a lot of times at the doctor's office, all they do to confirm it is they just take another like stick test. And so I just don't bother. Plus, I'm not going to the doctor this time. I'm using a midwife. And so it's a little different there. They're not going to do like a blood pregnancy test and things like that. So yeah, so that's that. And I'm still really surprised. Like, I'm so surprised that even though I have lots of pregnancy symptoms, which I'll talk about, like I said, in my pregnancy updates, it does not feel real at all. Like, my mind is not grasping this concept at all. I cannot wrap my head around it. It's like boggling my mind. So it's just so crazy. I think I was just so convinced it wasn't going to happen. One, this soon, and two, that cycle. That, I don't know. I don't even know. I do not know how to put my emotions into words. But I was so hopeful that 9 DPO, I was like, if it's a line, I was like, that would be amazing. You know, I was just so hopeful. And it was. So that was like the wonderful thing. I guess like, you know, the last thing I want to say is I always like to remind people, because I have people in my life who don't have kids yet, and they always assume that people just get pregnant. It just happens. It's not, you know, anything to worry about. And being in this community, you know, I know that it's actually more common for it to take a while, and it's actually, unfortunately, very common for people to have trouble trying to conceive. And so I kind of know just firsthand, like looking, not firsthand necessarily from my own experience, just because I've been very blessed, but just I know from just my friendships on here that it doesn't just happen. It really is, like, whether you have religious beliefs or not, like, I think everybody could agree that it is a miracle. It is like, it's just like a whoa type of thing. And so that is one thing I am so grateful to be in this community, because I think it really makes me appreciate the magic of it all in a way that a lot of people don't, unfortunately. And so, and it's so funny because you don't want to be negative, but sometimes when I have friends who are like, oh yeah, we'll just, you know, when the time's right, we'll just, you know, we'll have the baby then. And I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be all like weird, but you know, it doesn't always just happen like that. Like I said, not in a pessimistic way. It just, I think it just, when I hear that, it almost rubs me the wrong way, just because I have close friends who, you know, struggle and have been trying for a long time. So I also have close friends who can't have children at all, and so adoption's their only option. And so just to, you know, and that was a surprise to them. So I think like my point is this is something that you should always just be super excited about, and just, you know, remember that it is awesome, and that it really is kind of magical. You know, it's magical, and always be respectful that some people it doesn't just happen like that. You know, you want it to, but it doesn't. And so always kind of be respectful of that, and think of those people and keep them in your hearts. And so with that said, I want to send the baby dust that everybody shared with me that clearly worked. I want to throw some back out there to everybody, because as I said when I was pregnant with Grayson, I said everybody who wants this deserves it. Everybody does. And so I just want everybody, you know, to have their baby magic, basically. So all right, you guys, thanks for being on this journey with me, and I hope you stick around for the pregnancy part. And baby dust to you all, big time. And I know some people have gotten their BFPs as well, and so sticky dust to you, and I hope we do the best, you know, in your journey, whether it's trying to conceive or with a new baby, etc., etc. So yeah, all right, I'll talk to everybody soon.